Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Today, I'm going to tell you 5 reasons why I purchased a 2025 Toyota Tacoma TRD off-road with the iForce Max engine. Now, I've owned many different trucks in my life. I've been very fortunate to do that. I've had a lot of full-size trucks, and I've had a lot of mid-size trucks. In general, I do tend to prefer the mid-size trucks to live with every day. They're easier to park, they're smaller, they drive a little bit better on the road, they're easier to get into the garage, they're better off-roaders if you want to do that, and I just find them easier to live with. It is true that when you're towing and hauling doing serious truck stuff, that the full-size trucks are better at that. But I only do that 10 or 20% of the time, so I chose to go back to a mid-size truck because for 80% of the stuff I do, this is a better vehicle. So in terms of mid-size trucks, I've had a Gladiator and I've had a Colorado, and I think that's it for the mid-size trucks. I've never actually owned a Tacoma, so a lot of Tacoma folks are very loyal and they keep buying Tacomas. I've never been that way, and the reason that I never bought the previous generations of the Tacomas really came down to a couple things. The powertrain performance never really was there for me with what I was expecting out of the V6. I know the V6s, both the 4-liter and the 3.5, have been reliable engines. I'm not doubting that. But the horsepower and torque just weren't there. Combined with the 6-speed and the older 5-speed, I just didn't feel like they really had the performance that I was looking for out of a vehicle. That's all changed now, of course, with this iForce Max powertrain and the new 8-speed transmission. The other thing that held me back from getting a Tacoma in the past was that I tend to like to fit like larger tire on my truck or my vehicles, because I do like to do off-roading and I like the look of like a 33 or a 35-inch tire. With the previous Tacoma and the previous 4Runner, it was a bit of a challenge to fit like a 35-inch tire. You couldn't just bolt them on. And thankfully, Toyota gave us with this 4th generation, now you can put on the 35-inch tire with basically no modifications except unbolting the little safety bracket from the front wheel liners, and then you can just bolt up 35s, which I'm going to be doing here in episode 2, so stay tuned for that. So that was another big factor in finally pushing me over the fence to go with the 4th gen, is that ability to fit a large tire without having to do any extensive or expensive modifications to the truck. All right, everybody is talking about how the new Toyota Tacoma, the 4th generation, is too expensive and it's way overpriced. And that may be true. However, I still decided to get it for reasons I'll talk about in this video. But I wanted to show you my window sticker here. So this is a 2025 Celestial Silver 4-door, 4x4 double cab with the short bed. The main big option that I have is the TRD Off-Road Premium Package, which gives you a ton of stuff, which I'll talk about here in a minute, but all this is stuff that I wanted, and I would not have bought the truck without this package. I had my dealer go out and find this truck for me because I wanted silver, and I wanted the TRD Off-Road Premium. So it has a bunch of cool features that you can see here. That was a must-have for me. I also got a, spray-on bed liner, the Predator step, which I don't like because it's going to hang up off-road. So my truck was $58,179. That's after delivery, processing, and handling. Before that, it was $56,000. But you can see the base price here, if you didn't get any options, was $46,000 for a TRD off-road with the iForce Max. Again, this is iForce Max, and so that starts a little bit higher than if you got the regular powertrain. EPA ratings are 23 combined, 22 city, 24 highway. I'm averaging 21 so far, so I'm not really sure how we're going to go with that over the long run. We'll have to check back on that later. So do I feel that the Tacoma is overpriced? I guess compared to the previous one, maybe it is. But for me, it didn't feel like it was, because comparing it to other high-end vehicles, it didn't seem like that much money compared to the full-size trucks and things that I'm used to, or nicer cars. And it had all the features I wanted, which I couldn't get before. So I was glad to be able to get stuff like the ventilated seats, the huge infotainment screen with the cool cameras, the camera mirror, all this stuff. I was glad that I could get that, and I was willing to pay for it, but that may not be you. You may not want that and just want more of a basic economy truck, which is what the Tacoma was a long time ago. So I get why people are kind of pissed off. I feel the opposite. It's almost like by making it more premium, they attracted me as a buyer, because that's the kind of buyer that I am. So it worked for me, but it may not work for a lot of people. All right, so what are the 5 main reasons I decided to go for a 4th gen Tacoma for my next truck? Number 1 is resale value. So historically, Tacomas and 4Runners have been some of the highest resale or residual values of any vehicle you can buy. The reason that matters to me a lot is that I change my mind very, very often. I only had my last truck a year. That just goes to show you a residual value is important to me because if I do change my mind, I don't have to lose a ton of money. That was a big, big factor. Now, will the 4th generation, because of the higher price tags that they have on the 4th generation, will the residual value still be as good as they were with the older Tacomas? I don't know for sure, but I hope that they will. The second reason I bought the 4th gen Tacoma is the availability of the iForce Max powertrain. Now, let's back up a second. The standard powertrain on a Tacoma is now 2.4 liter turbo. It's a huge improvement to the old V6s that we had. Way more power, way more torque, way better drivability, all the torque at low RPM, combined with the 8-speed transmission, all the gears you want, always in the right gear ratio, no gear hunting, never feel stressed. I drove the base 2.4 turbo, it was good. Then I drove the iForce Max and I was like, that's it. The iForce Max is the one for me. It's 326 horsepower and 465 foot-pounds of torque. Think about what that means. It's a mid-sized truck, a Tacoma with almost 500 foot-pounds of torque and 326 horsepower. That's nuts. Now, it's not super fast. We're not a super truck level here, but that's very, very good. It makes this fun to drive and have plenty of power if you want to load it up with overlanding gear, put on bigger tires or tow trailers or do whatever you want to do. So I live in the mountains, high elevation. So for me, having a turbocharged engine makes a huge difference. When you have a non-turbo engine, you just really feel the power loss when you're pulling grades at these higher elevations in the mountains. And then you combine that with the hybrid system here with the iForce Max, it makes things even better because you have the torque fill and the extra power from the electric motor just boosting you even further. You don't really need to get the iForce Max. The regular turbo is actually pretty good, but once you drive this, you're kind of like, yeah, I don't mind having the extra power. It's pretty nice. Yeah, see, it's not fast. Of course, now it's starting to snow, but it has good power. There was some sort of initial hesitation there. I don't know what that really was. Maybe I'll try putting it in sport mode and see if that makes any difference. And then like passing power, let's say you need to go from like 45 to like 65. There's so much, I mean, look at that. There's just so much torque there in the mid-range and the low RPM. It's just such a different experience than driving the old Tacomas with the V6 and the 6-speed. It's a whole different world, and it's so much better. Okay, so we're gonna merge onto the highway going uphill, pretty steep. I'll do partial throttle acceleration to show you. That's just partial throttle. There's so much torque on this 465 foot-pounds. I mean, there's 60 miles an hour. That was about half throttle. The truck really drives. I mean, I just can't tell you how well this drives. So much power. So much torque that just pulls you. I mean, look, even in, I don't know what gear we're in, but like it's even at 2,500 RPM, like the way that this thing accelerates, even going uphill in the mountains, it's such a dramatic difference than we've ever seen before in a Tacoma. And it really wasn't a big factor for me. The third reason I decided to go with the 4th gen Tacoma is the off-road ability of this truck in stock form is very, very good. Now, I know the other trucks are very good as well. The Ranger's good, the Colorado's good, the Frontier's good, but I just feel like the Toyota, it's really up there. Plus, adding on top of that, the ability to fit 35-inch tire without doing any real modifications to the truck, that's a very, very good thing to have, to be able to fit those larger tires for off-roading, plus to improve the look and the stance of the truck without having to go through major modifications and expenses to do that. So that was number 3. Reason number 4 for me is the availability of aftermarket upgrades for Toyota Tacomas is incredible. Similar to having a Jeep, I had a Gladiator and I've had Wranglers in the past. Amazing aftermarket to do any sort of customization upgrade you want. For me, that's part of the fun of owning a vehicle. The Toyotas have that just like the Jeeps do. Bumpers, you know, winches, lights, wheels and tires, racks, whatever stuff you want to do. you know, to change up the look or the function of the vehicle. There's so much aftermarket availability. I haven't found that to be the case as much, like with the Colorado and the Canyon from Chevy and GMC. It's good with the Jeep. With the Nissan, I don't think it's as good. So again, that was a reason with the Toyota, just the crazy aftermarket, which gives me a lot of options. Reason number 5 that I decided to go with the 4th Gen Tacoma is, so I'm somebody who likes tech. I want the technology. I want the safety systems, the driver assistance, the 360 cameras, the sunroof, the ventilated cooled seats, the heated steering wheel, the camera mirror. This truck, so I got the premium package, which is a huge $8,000 upgrade. So this is a TRD off-road premium. And for me, I had to get the premium package. Otherwise, I would not have gotten the truck because I wanted all those cool tech features. That's how I am. I know myself. I want that stuff. I use that stuff every day. I like it. And that was a huge deciding factor for me. The camera system is amazing with all sorts of different angles. The rear view mirror that has the camera instead of the traditional mirror is incredible. Such a good view behind you. The cooled seats work well and keep me cool on, you know, on the hot days. The leather seats tend to get hot. The heated steering wheel. Also, Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 with the lane centering, the adaptive cruise control. Man, it's like halfway to self-driving. It works really, really well, and I really enjoy having it. Oh yeah, this is gonna be good. So I've been talking about the 35-inch tires. So in episode 2, I'm gonna be putting on these 35s Falcon tires on Method wheels, talking about all the ins and outs of that. And I've also ordered the Westcott Designs 2.5-inch lift for the truck. And I'll also be talking through some of the basic other modifications that I've done, like the tonneau cover, the floor mats inside, and just a few other things like that, and sort of my reasoning for it. But mostly you're going to be interested in the bigger wheels and tires and how that kind of affects everything and the pros and cons of that. So stay tuned. Episode 2, we're going to jump into some of the mods and the upgrades. I'm excited to get this truck personalized to myself. I think it's going to look really pretty badass. Sorry to pardon my French there, with these bigger tires on here and these black wheels. So stay tuned for that. But I hope this little video talking about the 5 reasons that I finally went and got a Tacoma for the 4th generation. Hope this was useful. Subscribe, stay tuned. There'll be more coming soon. Thanks for watching, and be safe out there.